He had it all: raw pace, deadly swing, and that killer instinct. At just 17, Mohammad Amir wasn't just a fast bowler, he was Pakistan's next great hope. But in a heartbeat, it all vanished. From the roar of the crowds to the silence of a jail cell. Accused, banned, rejected, branded a traitor. But was he a villain or a victim of cricket's darkest underworld? This is the story of Mohammad Amir, the spinner the world tried to silence. A tale of brilliance and betrayal, racism and redemption, and the heavy price of talent in a broken system. Born to bowl, long before the stadium lights and screaming fans, there was Gujar Khan, a dusty working-class town in Pakistan's Punjab province, where dreams were often buried before they began. But for one boy with a tennis ball and a dream, fate had other plans. Mohammad Amir was born on April 13, 1992, the second youngest of 7 children. His father worked hard to provide, but life wasn't easy. The streets were tough. The options were few. But Amir had a gift and a fire. By the age of 11, he was already swinging a taped ball like a veteran. Not just fast, but clever. Not just wild, but precise. While other kids played to pass time, Amir played to survive. His idol, Wasim Akram. He would watch Akram's footage for hours, mimicking the left arm action in front of mirrors and down narrow alleys. And destiny, it seemed, was watching back. At just 15, he caught the eye of the Rawalpindi Regional Academy. Coaches couldn't believe what they were seeing. A left-arm fast bowler with natural pace, control, and reverse swing. He was sent to Pakistan's National Cricket Academy in Lahore, and there, Wasim Akram himself noticed him. The legend took him under his wing, trained him, believed in him. He even called Amir a once-in-a-generation bowler. At 17, Mohammad Amir's name was already buzzing in cricketing circles. Pakistan had seen young talent before, but not like this. This was no ordinary story. This was the birth of a prodigy, the teenage phenom. The year was 2009. Pakistan cricket was in chaos, match-fixing scars, internal politics, and a team in transition. But into that storm walked a 17-year-old with fire in his eyes and magic in his fingers. Mohammad Amir made his Test debut against Sri Lanka in Gale. Most debutants look nervous, not Amir. He bowled like he belonged, with pace, bounce, and an effortless left-arm rhythm that made even veterans take notice. And soon the world knew his name. In just his 3rd test, Amir took 6 wickets at the MCG against Australia. On their turf, under their sun, he was fearless, ruthless. Steve Smith, Shane Watson, Ricky Ponting. They all struggled. This wasn't potential. This was performance. By the end of 2009, he had over 30 test wickets, a Champions Trophy semi-final under his belt, and a fan base that stretched from Karachi to London. He wasn't just Pakistan's future, he was its present. Experts called him the next Wasim. His run-up, smooth as silk. His wrist position, textbook perfect. And that late swing, devastating. But beyond the stats, there was something else. Something raw, something dangerous. Amir didn't just bowl to get wickets, he bowled to humiliate batsmen. That fire, it made him lethal, but it also made him vulnerable. Behind the fame, the money, and the rapid rise, he was still a teenager, surrounded by sharks in a cricketing ocean full of traps, and while the world was watching the highlight reels, no one saw the darkness closing in. The Lord's Nightmare. August 2010. The home of cricket. Lord's Cricket Ground. England versus Pakistan. Mohammad Amir was on fire. He had just taken his 50th test wicket. At only 18 years old, he was the youngest fast bowler in history to reach that milestone. Commentators praised his maturity. Analysts said he was already world-class. But as Amir walked back to his mark that day, he was walking into a trap. Behind the scenes, a scandal was brewing. An undercover sting operation by the News of the World had revealed something shocking. Amir, along with teammates Mohammad Asif and Salman Butt, had agreed to bowl pre-arranged no balls in exchange for money. The footage was damning. Agent Mazhar Majid caught on camera, counting bills, text messages, marked deliveries, Amir's foot clearly over the line, exactly as promised. The cricket world exploded. Shock, outrage, betrayal. The ICC launched an immediate investigation. 3 of Pakistan's brightest stars were suspended, and for Amir Naim the fall was steepest. Just days ago, he was the future of Pakistan cricket. Now he was branded a cheat, banned, isolated, 18 years old, and facing prison time in a foreign country. Some argued he was too young to understand what he'd done, that he had been pressured, manipulated, that Salman Butt and others had played the mastermind. But the facts didn't care. The damage was done. Cricket's brightest light had just been switched off. Lords, once the stage of his triumph, had become the scene of his public execution. And, for the first time, Mohammad Amir was truly alone. Jail, shame, and silence. From cricket's youngest superstar to a prisoner in a foreign land. In November 2011, Mohammad Amir was sentenced to 6 months in a UK prison. His crime? Spot fixing. Deliberately bowling no balls for money. He was just 19. For many, it was justice. For others, it was heartbreak. He wasn't the mastermind. He didn't profit millions. He didn't even fully understand the scale of what was happening. But that didn't matter. Cricket had to make an example. And Amir was it. Inside prison, Amir was kept in isolation. From global fame to cold concrete walls. The noise of the crowd replaced by silence. Deafening, brutal silence. Back home in Pakistan, the reactions were mixed. Some fans wept for him. Others spat on his name. Former teammates cut him off completely. He was no longer Pakistan's golden boy. He was an outcast, even when released after just 3 months, for good behavior. The real sentence had only just begun. The ICC banned him from all forms of cricket for 5 years. No matches, no training, no facilities, just a young man, trapped in the shadows of his own mistakes. But perhaps the most painful part? The world had moved on. New bowlers rose, new heroes emerged. And Mohammad Amir, once the brightest star in cricket, was fading into darkness. But in that silence, something began to grow. Reflection, regret, and resolve. Because even in his lowest moment, Amir wasn't finished. Not yet. The comeback, 5 years gone, a career left in ruins, a reputation buried. Most would have quit, but not Mohammad Amir. In 2015, the ICC lifted his ban. He was finally allowed to play domestic cricket again. And just like that, the grind began. He started at the bottom. Club cricket, practice nets, small crowds, no fanfare, no mercy. But Amir wasn't chasing applause. He was chasing redemption. In early 2016, the unthinkable happened. He was recalled to the Pakistan national team. Some cheered, others protested. Senior players like Mohammad Hafiz and Azhar Ali refused to train with him. Fans were split. Was he a criminal who didn't deserve a second chance, or a broken boy who had paid the price? But cricket doesn't care for opinions. It only cares for results. And Amir delivered. His comeback series was against New Zealand. Then came the Asia Cup, where he cleaned up India's top order with a spell full of venom. It was vintage Amir. Swinging in, nipping off the seam. He didn't speak much. He let the ball do the talking. But the real redemption came in 2017. The Champions Trophy final, Pakistan versus India. A high-voltage clash, billions watching. And Amir, he produced the spell of a lifetime. Rohit Sharma, gone for a duck. Virat Kohli dropped once, dismissed next ball. Shikhar Dhawan cleaned up. India's top order destroyed. 3 wickets in 6 overs. Pakistan won the final. And Amir had his moment. Not just as a bowler, but as a man who had come back from hell. For the first time in years, the world applauded. He wasn't the boy who threw it all away. He was the man who fought for every inch of it back. Controversy never left. Redemption, yes. Acceptance, never fully. Even after his Champions Trophy heroics, Mohammad Amir's place was never secure. Whispers followed him into every dressing room. Fans forgave, but teammates, some, never forgot. Senior players like Mohammad Hafiz made it clear, we don't play with tainted players. And though Amir stayed silent, the tension never left. Injury problems started to creep in. His pace dipped, his form dipped, and critics were quick to pounce. Finished. Overrated. He was never the same after prison, but Amir kept pushing. In Test cricket, he tried to adjust his game, more control, more consistency. But the spark, the wild brilliance, it didn't always return. Then came the 2020 turning point. Frustrated with management, overlooked in squads, and publicly criticized by coaches, Amir snapped. He announced his retirement from international cricket at just 28. Not because he couldn't bowl, but because, in his own words, he was being mentally tortured. The man who had been dragged through the dirt for years felt betrayed once more. Not by the fans, not by the world, but by his own cricket board. It wasn't a press conference, it wasn't dramatic, just a quiet, tired statement. I can't play under this management anymore. And with that, the boy who once lit up the world stage walked away. But his story still far from over. Beyond cricket, family, and lifestyle, away from the stadium lights and roaring crowds, Mohammad Amir's life paints a different picture. He is more than just a cricketer defined by controversy and redemption. He is a husband, a father, a man seeking peace. Amir married Narjis Khatun, a British-Pakistani lawyer, in 2019. Their bond grew stronger through years of struggle, separation, and public scrutiny. She stood by him through his darkest days, when the world turned its back. Together they have 2 daughters. A quiet family life, far from the media frenzy, is Amir's refuge. Off the field, Amir enjoys a lifestyle many dream of. Loving fatherhood, lavish homes between the UK, Dubai, and Pakistan. Luxury watches, designer fashion, and exotic cars fill his Instagram feed. But Amir remains humble, often sharing glimpses of his family moments and charity work. Despite the ups and downs, he remains connected to cricket. Private coaching sessions, appearances at T20 leagues, and mentoring young fast bowlers are part of his daily life. This balance between fame and family, past and present, is the man Amir has become. Net worth and where he is now. Mohammad Amir's cricket career may have had its highs and lows, but his financial success tells a story of resilience. As of 2025, Amir's estimated net worth is between $6 to $8 million US. Earnings from international matches, lucrative contracts in global T20 leagues, from the Pakistan Super League to the Caribbean Premier League, have filled his coffers. Endorsements and brand deals, though fewer than some contemporaries, have added to his wealth. Away from cricket, Amir has embraced entrepreneurship and personal branding, often sharing fitness routines, training tips, and lifestyle glimpses with millions of social media followers. Though he retired from international cricket early, he continues to play in franchise leagues, coaching camps, and private sessions. He divides his time between the UK, Pakistan, and Dubai, balancing family life and cricketing commitments. Though a return to the international arena remains uncertain, one thing is clear. Amir's story is far from over. His legacy is not only in wickets taken, but in the battles fought beyond the boundary. Legacy and redemption. Mohammad Amir's journey is not just about cricket. It is a story of talent caught in a web of corruption, youth tested by harsh consequences, and a man fighting to reclaim his honor. Some see him as a fallen hero, tainted by scandal, never fully forgiven. Others see a symbol of redemption, a young man who paid the price and fought his way back. His story raises difficult questions about the sport itself. How vulnerable are young players to exploitation? How fair is the system that punishes the player, but often shields the masterminds? Amir's swing bowling mesmerized millions. His wickets won matches, and his moments of brilliance are etched in cricket history. But his legacy is more complex, marked by pain, controversy, and a search for justice. When the world tried to silence Mohammad Amir, they silenced more than a cricketer. They silenced a generation's hope and exposed the cracks in a sport struggling to protect its own. But Amir's story reminds us that even in darkness, there can be light, that redemption is possible, and that sometimes the greatest victories happen off the field. Mohammad Amir, a boy, a bowler, a survivor, the spinner the world tried to silence,